Thank you. The chair now recognizes the ranking member of the Subcommittee on Intelligence and Emerging Threats and Capabilities, the gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Stefanik, for any comments she would like to make. Ms. Stefanik, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Smith. I want to start by thanking my friend, IETC Chairman Jim Langevin, for his leadership and all of the members of the subcommittee for their attendance and participation in our hearings and briefings. We've covered critical issues in this mark, including the department's contributions to the COVID-19 response, and we have done so in a collaborative and bipartisan manner. I would like to take a moment to highlight 3 broad themes that I believe are notable within the mark. First, this mark is active in all areas of the subcommittee's jurisdiction, with special emphasis on basic research and the important contributions that our science and technology ecosystem, including our universities, the DoD laboratories, and DARPA, provide to our collective national defense, including our pandemic preparedness and response. There are important lessons learned that must be captured from the current COVID-19 crisis, and this mark begins that process by requiring the Government Accountability Office to review the department's biosurveillance and detection capabilities and ability to respond to chemical or biological events in the future. This mark also restores a critical social science research program that has provided foundational insights into violent extremism, great power competition, and foreign information operations campaigns. Second, this mark strongly supports the department's investments in emerging technologies and builds out the structure that will transform our research investments into military capability. This mark establishes a pilot program inside the Defense Innovation Unit that will modernize how the DoD identifies and employs our Reserve and National Guard service members. It also includes a provision that elevates the Joint AI Center as a direct report to the Deputy Secretary of Defense and establishes a board of directors that will forge long-term partnerships with industry and subject matter experts. These provisions demonstrate how important artificial intelligence is and how urgently it must be integrated into not only our weapons systems, but our healthcare systems, our predictive maintenance efforts, our humanitarian assistance missions, and our cybersecurity. Many of these provisions came from the AI Commission, which was part of a previous NDAA. Our ability to apply artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies faster than our adversaries will allow us to maintain our competitive edge over Russia and China. Mr. Chairman, I am also pleased that this mark will continue the tradition of rigorous oversight of ongoing and sensitive military operations and the structures of our cyber and special operations forces. It includes requirements for the department to study the establishment of a cyber reserve force and update policies to streamline the interoperability of our Reserve and National Guard forces when dealing with cyber incidents. This mark also requires the Comptroller General to review how our elite special operations forces are pivoting to the challenge of great power competition and reinvigorating our efforts in the contested information and cyber environments. And finally, as the proud representative of the soldiers and families of Fort Drum and the 10th Mountain Division, my work on this subcommittee is important. It's integral to ensuring the safety and security of the men and women sent into harm's way. This subcommittee mark supports our force protection and military intelligence capabilities to ensure our service members have the tools they need to mitigate hostile actions while they continue their important missions abroad. As the representative of the most deployed division in the United States Army who is currently serving in Afghanistan, my #1 priority is force protection and the safety and security of the brave men and women called into action to protect our national interests. I'd like to take a moment to thank our dedicated professional staff members of this subcommittee, and in particular Eric Snellgrove and Jason Schmidt from our minority team, as well as Shannon Green and the entire majority team. Thank you as well to Chairman Smith and Ranking Member Thornberry for your leadership. This is a strong subcommittee mark, and I urge my colleagues to support. With that, I yield back.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the subcommittee mark? Yes, Mr. Thornberry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to take a moment to highlight the work of this subcommittee and commend the chairman and the ranking member. We're not going to spend a lot of time debating cyber and artificial intelligence and biological preparedness, some of the most important things, not only for now, but for the future of our military. And I just especially want to highlight, as Chairman Langevin said, this subcommittee created an artificial intelligence commission that is still working, but a number of its preliminary recommendations are now included. This subcommittee set up the Cyber Solarium panel on which the Chairman Langevin and Mr. Gallagher sat, and a number of those recommendations are included. And I just think there is such important work here that we won't spend much time debating, but it is literally the future of the nation. And I would just add a third thing, and that is biopreparedness. Chairman Mark puts money back into the bio-threat program, which was exactly the right thing to do. This subcommittee has kept its eye on preparedness for biological threats, and I worry that COVID is educating our enemies on how they can come at us. And we're going to have to be even more prepared in the future. So lots of good work within the subcommittee, but also on these outside panels, and I just wanted to highlight that. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Torby. I just want to echo those comments. I think we both were chairs of this subcommittee once upon a time, and you're right. It's usually not something that we debate a lot in here, but there's incredibly important work that goes into that, and you know the future of warfare, the technology that is involved. It's incredibly important stuff, even if we don't debate it and argue about it. So I want to second the ranking member's comments.